Hey everybody, Hoosier Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking episode 9 of Total Drama All-Stars called Zeek and Ye Shall Find. And generally speaking, I kind of found this to be a somewhat run-of-the-mill episode of Total Drama, which is pretty disappointing considering that it's the 100th episode anniversary. I was really hoping that they'd pull out all the stops and we'd have a bunch of the old cast show up for some sort of big cameo. May probably not have speaking parts, but at least an appearance, sort of like with the brief cameo we got from everybody at the start of season 4. And instead, well, we got an episode that frequently mentioned it was the 100th anniversary episode, but overall, nothing really special. It just felt kind of like the big Ezekiel episode from last season redone, and without even a cameo by Izzy. Although we already did get that this season, so I guess that's something. But the show decided to celebrate in its own way, and yeah, so did I. This is a nice little bottle of shochu that I picked up when I was on my vacation to Japan back in September, so I've got a bit of that in there with some orange juice. Got a little bit of a screwdriver going on there. Second favorite drink, screwdrivers, with number 1 being a Long Island iced tea, for those of you who might be curious. But anyway, let's just kind of get into talking about this episode. And as I said, this was a little bit of a letdown in terms of a 100th anniversary episode, and generally speaking, a pretty run-of-the-mill episode. Now, Alejandro, learning the truth about Mal, and obviously setting things up for some future conflict there. Okay, I'm okay with that, because frankly Mal's pretty much had most everything go his way. Now that Alejandro's in the know and is really pretty much probably the best person in a position to really challenge Mal, okay, that's some potentially interesting stuff right there. I mean, now that Duncan's gone, that's out of the picture, and frankly, Duncan was kind of scared of the guy, so I don't think we were ever going to get anything out of that. Although you just kind of have to wonder why Alejandro just didn't blow Mal's secret out of the water, and then bam, he would have been voted off the island for sure next possible opportunity. Yeah, so bad thinking there, Al. You really should have just stolen that DVD and found some way to show it to everybody else. I mean, if Alejandro was clever enough to get away with all the stuff he did in Season 3, I'm pretty sure he could find a way to get his hands on a TV and a DVD player for 5 minutes and get everybody in the same room. But, yeah. Anyway, so we also see this episode of Courtney and Scott becoming a couple officially for all of 2 hours. Now, I've said repeatedly I'm not really a fan of this particular idea. I don't really do shipping, again, something else I've repeatedly said. But, yeah, I just like this because I don't really like these two together simply because it doesn't seem very interesting to me. And, well, I gotta say, though, I kind of considered Scott to be a downgrade from Duncan. And after what we've seen of Duncan this season, that's saying something. Then again, Scott's also lost his nasty edge. He's just really horribly ineffective as a villain. Now, granted, seeing him sort of stumble around and say, like both eyes and I want to be your girlfriend and all this stuff, well, there was some humor to be had there, but not a whole lot. And, breaking up with Scott after 2 hours, I don't really think that speaks terribly well of Courtney as a character. Now, granted, she's not exactly had a very good road in terms of relationships on this show, but let's just say that I give Courtney more credit than that, and leave it at that. Let me see. Now, I did like that they touched on Gwen's phobia of enclosed spaces, of being buried alive. Okay, I totally sympathize with that. I've had nightmares about the exact same thing. Like claustrophobia. Yeah, I've got a little bit of that going on. So if I was in a mine, yeah, I'd be a little tense too. Especially a dangerous mine filled with a psychotic mutant dude and a bunch of toxic waste. that would be a wee bit stressful. So I can sympathize with Gwen there. Now that said, I'm not really sure if she should have been quite as afraid as she was. Gwen's proven herself repeatedly to be one of the braver people on Total Drama. I mean, this is somebody who basically personally fought an axe murderer. Now, granted, she's getting her big, greatest fear thing repeatedly pounded. And, of course, last season we saw Chris basically bury Gwen alive, making a bad situation even worse. But, Gwen did sort of redeem herself there at the end when she managed to take down Ezekiel. So, I can kind of live with that. Let's see. One other thing that I really liked was Zoe's comment when she was locked in that cage with everybody else that this is not the worst party I've ever been to. As soon as she said that, it's like, you know what? I can sympathize with that because I've been to some really, really bad parties. And man, how sucky is it when you're at a party and it is just bad? It's not fun. Not at all. Especially if you just can't leave because you came there with somebody else or some other BS like that. Anyway, so that's really all I kind of have to say about that. And ultimately, this leads to Cameron getting voted off the island. Well, I kind of saw that coming. I've said that Cameron's story potential has pretty much been played out pretty closely. So he exited the stage at about when he needed to. Now, you kind of have to wonder if he wasn't paying too close attention to last season because, you know what? No, that's right. They didn't introduce Mal last season. What am I thinking? Anyway, you think that he would be a little bit more suspect of Mike's multiple personalities, I suppose, given, that two of them are basically kind of jerks. But, Cameron's a very trusting and somewhat innocent sort of guy. I think he would be a little bit more genre savvy after everything that he went through last season. But still, this season has had a bit of a continuing problem of people being taken to an extreme in terms of their personalities. And frankly, that's actually something that has been kind of a reoccurring problem throughout Total Drama. I mean, look at Season 2. Jeff and Bridget basically became the two that are constantly making out with each other. They had no personality beyond that. Now, they managed to improve Bridget a little bit when they brought her back for Season 3, but overall, Bridget's heyday was Season 1. Same with Jeff. Not really a surprise that, again, except for the cameo at the start of Season 4, we haven't seen those two again. But anyway, like I said, overall, really disappointed we didn't get cameos from some of the other characters, and otherwise just ended up with a pretty straight-up average episode of Total Drama. A 100th anniversary should have been, something that would just make you go cheer and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. It should have been a celebration of everything that made Total Drama awesome. A real greatest hits kind of thing. And it just wasn't. But hey, there's always next episode, right? Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you this time. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.